So hey everyone, welcome back to my game, Devlog. This is week 1, part 3. It's the final part for week 1. So at this point in time, my art isn't the best, but it's good enough to work with for now. Maybe in the future I'll outsource the artwork or just work on it some more. Again, if this is your first time watching, I apologize for the screen being partially cut off. I didn't have OBS set up properly, but it's fixed now for upcoming weeks. So week 3 started off with me adding more line work to the character. So at this point, I sectioned off each body part of the character into its own layer. I plan on doing the animations with the rig character in Unity, so this will allow me to easily swap character elements when needed and easily create new ones when needed. So after I had a good outline done and some of the different elements of the character repositioned, resized to what I was comfortable with, I probably spent an entire day researching the pros and cons of using a rigged character versus a drawn character. As you know, I decided on a rigged character. Okay, so back to the layers. Example of what I did for the layers are I broke the head as its own, each eye as its own, the neck as its own layer, the chest as its own layer, the waist as its own layer, the right arm as its own layer, the right hand as its own layer, the right leg, the right foot, and so on for the left also. If I need more or I need to change any of these layers, I can do that in the future. So now I have the line work done, and I started guessing the angle of my character. I wasn't sure if it was angled properly for a 2D character, for a 2D platformer. But it doesn't matter that much. Every game has its own art style. So for now, it's good enough to go forward with. I think that's a recurring thing. It's good enough, and I think everyone should consider that it's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always go back and adjust. So like before, I quickly got a color palette from Adobe Color, but I wasn't happy with that color palette. So I went back on Adobe Color and actually took some time to look through their color palettes and find a few that I liked. Not thinking, I made a mistake of adding the color to all the outline layers instead of separating them into their own layer. So after I pretty much colored the entire robot or character, I had to fix it, and I had to remove all the color and create their own color layers. So I had experience coloring in Clip Studio Paint. I wasn't sure if it's the right way to do it for Photoshop, so I did some research. I think just basically using a color layer works fine. So after I was happy with a color palette, I did some more line cleanup, and it was time to start adding color. So right now, I don't know if the colors I picked are the final colors, but I just wanted to get something, so I kept it simple with 2 colors, one for the body and then one for the eyes. I found through videos and some articles that using gradients to quickly shadow or highlight your character is a really easy way to do it. For the rigging to be properly imported into Unity, I do believe I have to combine the outline, color, and gradient layers together in Photoshop. So right now I'm saving I'll save the character. Right now I'll save the character as a separate file. So if I have to go back, it's not all the layers aren't merged together permanently. This I'm not 100% sure yet. In the coming week, that's what I'm going to be trying to do, is setting up the rigging system in Unity. So after the gradients, I added a blur to the eyes to create a nice glow effect. I'll amplify this later in Unity. So I forgot to record this next part, but I started adding some highlights and repositioned the character's left leg to better align with the right leg. Something about it, I was pulled back and had a further out view of the character, and something just didn't look right or seemed right. And I think it was one of the legs wasn't perfectly lined up, and it made it look awkward. So that's it for part 3. The next video will be week 2. In week 2, I'll probably start with making a few minor character adjustments, trying to import the character into Unity using the 2D PSD importer, and trying to set up the rigged character. Maybe I'll get an animation in. Hopefully. We'll see how it goes. So we'll finally get some game development stuff in. I haven't really touched much of the code yet for the game, but it's all steps. So I think this is a good place to start. I hope you enjoyed week 1 of this game dev vlog. So stay tuned for week 2. If you're interested, please subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks.